To say when we're done, okay? That's Promised Land, live at the Honky Tonk House Concert Series. And we're with our special guest, Drew Nelson. Hi, Drew.
Hey, Tom. How are you?
We're going to hear a lot of tunes by Drew tonight, but first, here's this. We're with Drew Nelson. I'd like to know the history of Drew Nelson.
the whole
The musical history.
I've been playing songs since I was about 6 years old, hanging out at the bus stop with my brother. The first song I wrote was a co-write with my big brother, and it was called "O Tom the Toad." "O Tom the Toad, where did you hop out on the road? You were here and you were there, and now you're mostly everywhere."
That doesn't have anything to do with me, does it?
No, not really. But that was the kind of the first thing. So like in our house, growing up, there was always music around, and there was always poetry and always a lot of literature. And so I think I've just been kind of singing since I can remember.
Well, let's hear another tune from the Honky Tonk House Concert Series in Streetsboro, Ohio. I'd like to know about your CDs you released, and how would folks get a hold of those CDs?
Well, the newest CD is called Dusty Road to Beulah Land, and it's a collection of stories kind of written from different character standpoints, and the whole record tells a really neat story of these people's lives that just intertwines through it. And the easiest way to do that is just visit my website, drewnelson.com.
What about this tune we're going to hear tonight, True and Fine?
Oh, that's a fun song. I've always been intrigued about writing a song that's a whole story that just happens in one moment. And this is a story about two people that they kind of find themselves in a situation at a kind of like a festival or out in the country, and they share a whole lifetime, but just through one little waltz.
So here's True and Fine, right from the Honky Tonk House Concert Series in Streetsboro, Ohio on 91.3, The Summit. Songwriting. I'd like to know, where do you get your best ideas for your songs, Drew?
It's kind of like asking where the wind comes from. I think that it's about living a life that's open and listening and kind of keeping your heart open to those things. The songs are happening around us all the time, and it's just whether or not we're listening. So I do a lot of basically eavesdropping on other people's conversations, like at IHOP, and then I steal stuff.
That's a good idea. This tune we're going to hear now, live from the concert, Copper. Now there's some Indian language in there. What tribe is it from?
That's the Anishinaabeg language, which would be the people that, the traditionally it's the Ottawa, the Potawatomi, and the Ojibwe, and they kind of share a common language.
Yeah, we've had Cheyennes on our show before, but we've never had that kind of music on our show. I can't even say the name of the tribe, but here's Copper right now on 91.3, The Summit. Travel in the last couple of years. Have you had any good or bad travel experiences you want to share with our listeners today?
I've had a ton of travel experiences. I do a lot of traveling in Scotland. I think that one of the funnest ones, I was playing at the Leith Folk Club. It's a suburb of Edinburgh. And the long story short is I was staying with somebody that was a member of the board there, and they had left to go off to work, and I was locked out of their house the next day, and I was on the phone with my booking agent up in Inverness in the Highlands, and he said, well, look for street signs. And everyone's been to Scotland, there's no street signs anywhere in Edinburgh that make any sense. And he says, well, ask somebody. So this little kid was coming at me on a bicycle, and I said, excuse me, I said, could you tell me where I am? And the kid stops. He goes, "Oi, you're in Scotland." He says, so it's probably the funniest one.
I bet it is. And, you know, a lot of times I ask this question, and Jay and Tammy know what I'm going to ask. They're sitting in here with us tonight in the Honky Tonk Man Cave. If you had a chance to go out in space for 2 weeks, you could take one man, one woman, live or dead, musical, historical, political, authors, it doesn't matter. Who would you take? And we'll give you plenty of air, we'll give you food, give you electrical cords if you want to play music with them. So who would you take, man and woman? One each.
I'd take Emmylou Harris.
Oh yeah, good choice.
And then I would take the wonderful Michigan author Jim Harrison. and I would also bring probably Tom Waits along and a lot of whiskey.
Tom would like that, since he doesn't get out too often anymore. All right, good choices. So here we go with another tune from the concert, the Honky Tonk House Concert Series in Streetsboro, Ohio. Well, we want to thank our friends, Jay and Tammy, for putting these concerts on in Streetsboro. The Honky Tonk House Concert Series is just another non-profit event in this area, and we bring such great artists in this area, and especially Drew Nelson. You've done a very fine job. If you had any advice to give to our players in Youngstown, Canton, or Akron, or around the world, since this program streams around the world, what advice would you give to our younger players?
I would just say, you just be true to yourself, you know, and practice your instrument. And the other thing is just read, and read more. You know, I think a great writer reads, you know, so just don't quit. Just keep plugging away and read anything you can get your hands on, and write. You know, you'll write a lot of songs that maybe aren't so good before you start getting to the good ones, and the best thing to do is just don't quit.
Well, Drew, it's been wonderful having you here, and what I hope that you'll come back again in this area, and when you come back, if you want to be on the show, just call me up ahead of time, okay?
I would love to. Thanks, Tom.
All right, here's one or two more tunes from the concert. We're done.